The first vibration arrives before the machine is even in view, an underground tremor rolling through concrete, stirring dust in forgotten corners, as if the earth itself recognizes something ancient returning. Then, through the settling haze, the silhouette emerges, the 2026 Harley Davidson Knucklehead, a resurrection not merely engineered, but summoned. Asterisk metal glints like a memory sharpened to a blade. Every curve seems carved with intention, every bolt a tiny oath to history. For a moment, the world hushes. Even the wind seems to pause, waiting to remember the shape of a legend. Asterisk it comes to a stop beneath a sliver of cold morning light. The lines of the frame catch fire with reflections, revealing the unmistakable geometry of the original Knucklehead's heritage. Those iconic valve covers, sculpted like clenched knuckles, still defiant after nearly a century. But this time, they're forged with 21st century precision. Aerospace-grade aluminum alloy. Ultra-dense, micro-polished, engineered not just for nostalgia but for endurance. Asterisk, the engine pulses once. A slow, thunderous heartbeat. Asterisk, then again. Louder. A low-frequency growl rolls outward, ancient and newborn at once. Inside the block is where the rebirth truly happened. A 1,468cc liquid-cooled V-twin, meticulously tuned to preserve the unmistakable cadence of the original while unleashing modern power. Variable valve timing dances in fractional milliseconds. A hybridized fuel injection system simulates the signature exhaust signature, but with cleaner burn efficiency. Beneath the historical silhouette lies a lattice of new technology: ride-by-wire response curves, adaptive engine mapping, and heat dissipation channels so efficient they behave like vascular pathways. Asterisk, yet nothing about it feels sterile. Nothing feels automated. This machine breathes. Steel lines the chassis like the bones of a wild animal, reinforced with carbon-infused plating that remains invisible beneath the classic contours. The designers resisted the temptation to make it sleek in the contemporary sense. Instead, they whispered reverently to the past and asked what it wanted to become. And the past answered, not by returning unchanged, but by demanding evolution. Asterisk, a single hand reaches down and brushes over the tank. The finish is deep, liquid, almost hypnotic lacquered black that conceals microlayered, metallic particles which only reveal themselves when sunlight angles through them. At dusk, the tank glows like obsidian that swallowed stars. Asterisk, the ignition turns. The engine roars awake, an eruption, violent yet controlled, like the exhale of a creature emerging from hibernation. The vibrations climb through the bars, the seat, the chassis, then smooth themselves as the active counterbalancer engages, a symphony conductor timing each oscillation to perfection. Asterisk, the road ahead stretches endlessly, its asphalt a dark river waiting to be broken. The machine launches, and the world around blurs. The torque response hits like a wave fast, decisive, pressing the rider into the seat as if gravity itself has tightened its grip. Yet even in this surge of acceleration, a strange gentleness threads through the motion. The redesigned suspension multi-link, semi-active, self-leveling reads the terrain like Braille, adapting to each nuance before the rider even senses it. Asterisk, but the power? That power is something else entirely. Asterisk, as speed rises, as the wind claws harder and the landscape begins to slide sideways, the bike grows steadier. The gyroscopic stability system, hidden beneath layers of chrome and steel, whispers subtle corrections. The machine does not fight the road. It collaborates with it. At 70 miles per hour, the ride feels like gliding on compressed thunder. At 100 miles per hour, the roar becomes something primal, a song older than the highways themselves. Asterisk, the exhaust note carries the soul of its ancestor deep. Uneven, rebellious, but now with a clarity that rides the edge of perfection. Engineers spent years shaping that sound, tuning harmonics inside acoustic chambers, sculpting resonance paths within titanium-baffled pipes. The result is not noise but identity. You don't just hear the Knucklehead, you recognize it, as if from a past life. Asterisk, and yet, beneath all this beauty lies a constant tension. Asterisk, the resurrected machine walks a razor's edge between tradition and innovation. Purists demanded mechanics they could touch, smell, repair with their own hands. Modern riders demanded precision, safety, intelligence. The 2026 Knucklehead answers both, but at a cost. It is not a machine you simply ride, it is one you must understand, one that demands presence. It requires the rider to become part of the machine's rhythm, To listen for the subtle shifts in the V-twins' breathing patterns, to feel the micro-adjustments in the traction response. It rewards connection. It punishes neglect. Asterisk long stretches of open highway pass by, the machine carving through them with effortless authority. Sunlight flares across the chrome. Shadows ripple across the engine fins. Every mile feels cinematic, as though reality itself has stepped aside to let the legend retake its throne. Asterisk. But the journey is not merely performance. It is revelation. Up close, every detail tells a story. The hand-stitched leather saddle, treated to age rather than degrade. Asterisk, the analog-digital hybrid gauges, glowing softly like lanterns in a storm. Asterisk, the frame welds, each one imperfect on purpose, echoing the craftsmanship of the 1930s. Asterisk, the subtle, coded engravings along the inner frame rails, coordinates of historic Harley milestones, hidden like sacred runes. Asterisk, in the twilight, the bike pulls off onto an abandoned stretch of industrial ruins. Rusted beams stretch overhead like skeletal fingers. The machine idles, rumbling, its heat radiating invisible waves. The air thickens. Something feels different, electric, anticipatory. Asterisk, the engine settles into a slow, resonant lope. The lights dim slightly as though the machine is contemplating something. For the first time, its presence feels aware. As if generations of riders, roads, storms, victories, and failures all live inside its metal. As if every mile it has ever dreamed of is waiting beyond the horizon. Asterisk, and then, in the fading light, something changes. Asterisk, a low beep. A flicker in the display. A symbol appears, one not shown in any manual, any preview, any press briefing. It glows for only a second. A strange angular mark, like a fractured wing or half-finished circle. Then it vanishes. The machine exhales one final rumble. Steady yet strangely ominous. Asterisk, the horizon grows darker. Wind rises. Somewhere in the distance. Another engine responds, but with a tone unfamiliar, sharper, more advanced. Asterisk, the 2026 Knucklehead sits motionless, illuminated by the last thread of daylight, as if listening to the distant echo of its own future, a future not yet revealed, but already closing in. Asterisk, and in that moment, a silent question hangs in the air, heavy and unresolved. Asterisk, what is Harley preparing next? Asterisk, and why does the Knucklehead seem to know before we do?